book of Revelation has on the 66 books of the scriptures. We'll be doing this in 40 days. This is Brother Victor Kiro, and we are coming live from Nairobi, Kenya. Thank you for the support that you've given us. Thank you for the support that you've given us through your prayers. We know the book of YHWH, or Isaiah 40 verses 8, it says that the word of Yahweh will remain, it will stand against everything, and it can never go back to Shamayim, to heaven, or back to our Father without it not fulfilling its purpose. We will really appreciate your comment telling us where you're watching us from. Kindly note that sing the sacred name of our Father. It is the name of our Father. He gave the name to our salvation. We'll be reading using the Hallelujah scriptures. I'll show you a copy. This is the Hallelujah scriptures, and also we'll be using the restoration. We were able to read the book of Exodus. We were able to read the book of Genesis. And we are reading from Genesis to Revelation, and today we'll be beginning from Exodus chapter 1 to Exodus chapter 20. And we know that we will be blessed together. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Shalom, 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 brothers and sisters. Shalom again, wherever you are watching us. Journey through the scriptures, where we will be reading from the book of Genesis to the book of Revelation. We start by introducing myself. My name is Brother Victor Kiro, coming live to you from Nairobi, Kenya, East Africa. And I'll give this microphone to my fellow servant in the vineyard of Yahweh to introduce himself so that we can start together.
Shalom, brothers and sisters from every corner of the world.
Messiah, and also at Messianic Davar show. And we will start. Thank you so much. Exodus chapter 1. Now, these are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came from Jacob: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah; Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin; Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. And the children of Israel were fruitful, and increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when they fallen out any war, they join also unto our enemies, and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burden, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptian made the children of Israel to serve with bringer, and they made their lives bitter with the hard bondage, in mortar, and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service within they made them serve was with rigor. And the king of Egypt spoke to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of one was Shifhar, and the name of the other was Poor. And he said, When you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stool, if it is be a son, then you shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then you shall live. But the midwives feared Elohim, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men, children alive. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives, and said unto them, Why have you done these things? And you have saved the men, children alive. And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, Because the Hebrew women are not as Egyptian women, for they are lively, and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them. Therefore Elohim dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied, and waxed very mighty. And it came to pass, because the midwife feared Elohim, that he made them houses. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, Every son that is born you shall cast into the river, and every daughter you shall alive. Exodus chapter 2. And there went a man of the house of Levi, and took a wife, a daughter of Levi. And the woman convinced, and bare a son. And when she saw him, that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. And when she could no longer hid him, she took for him an ark of barshes, and dapped it in slime, and with spite, and put the child therein, and she laid it in the flood by the river's brink. And his sister stood afar off, to wit what would be done to him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maiden walked along by the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the flood, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she had opened it, she saw a child. And behold, the babe wept, and she had compassion on him, and said, This is one of the Hebrews' children. Then said his sisters to Pharaoh's daughter, Shall I go and call to thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for you? And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, Go. And the maid went and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, Take this child away, and nurse it for me, and I will give you their wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it. And the child grew, and fled from the face of the Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of the Midian, he sat down by a well. Now the priest of the Midian and the 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moshe stood up and helped them and watered their flock. And when they came to the well, their father, he said, "How is it that you are come so soon today?" And they said, "An Egyptian delivers us out of the hand of the shepherd, and also drew water enough for us and watered the flock." And he said unto his daughter, "And where is he? Why is it that you have left the man? Call him, that he may eat bread." And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses Zipporah, his daughter, and she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershom. For he said, "I have been a stranger in a stranger's land." And it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage, and they cried, and their cry came up to Elohim by reason of the bondage. And Elohim heard their groaning, and Elohim remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And Elohim looked upon the children of Israel, and Elohim had respect unto them. The book of Exodus, chapter 3. Now Moshe kept the flock of Jethro his father-in-law, the priest of the Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert, and came to the mountain of Elohim, even the Horeb. And the angel of Yahweh appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush, and he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moses said, "I did not turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt." And when Yahweh saw that, he turned aside to see. Elohim called him out of the midst of the bush and said, "Moshe, Moshe." He said, "Here I am." And he said, Draw not me hither. Put off thy shoe from off thy feet, for the place whereof you stand is holy ground." Moreover, he said, "I am the Elohim of your father, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, the Elohim of Jacob." And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon Elohim. And Yahweh said, "I will surely see the affliction of my people, which are in Egypt, and have had their cry by reason of their taskmasters. For I know their sorrow, and I come down to deliver them out of the land of the Egyptian, and to bring them up of the land unto a good land, and unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanite, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me, and I have seen no oppression wherein. I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptian oppressed them. Come now therefore, and I will send you unto Pharaoh, and you may bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt." And Moshe said unto Elohim, "Who am I that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt?" And he said, "Certainly I will be with you, and this shall be a token unto you that I have sent you. When you have brought forth the people out of Egypt, you shall serve Elohim upon this mountain." And Moses said unto Elohim, "Behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, The Elohim of your father has sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, What is his name? And what shall I say unto them?" And Elohim said unto Moshe, "I am that I am." He said, You shall say unto the children of Israel, "I am has sent me unto you." And Elohim said moreover unto Moses, You say unto the children of Israel, "Elohim of your father, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, the Elohim of Jacob have sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. Go and gather the elders of Israel together, and say unto them, Yahweh Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob, appear unto me, saying, I have surely visited you, and seen that which is done to you in Egypt. And I have said, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt, unto the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, Jebusites, unto a land flowing with milk and honey. And they shall hearken to my voice, and you shall come, you and your elders of Israel, unto the king of Egypt. And you shall say unto Yahweh Elohim us go, we beseech you, 3 days' journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to Yahweh our Elohim. And I am sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go, no, not by a mighty hand. And I will stretch out my hand and smite Egypt with all the wonders which I will do in the midst thereof. And after that he will let you go. And I will give these people favor in the sight of the Egyptian. And it shall come to pass that when you go, you shall not go empty, but every woman shall borrow of her neighbor and of that sojourner in her house jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and you shall put them upon your son and upon your daughters, and you shall spoil the Egyptians.
Genesis chapter 4 verse 1. And Moshe answered and said, and if they do not believe me, nor listen to my voice, and say, Yahweh has not appeared to you. And Yahweh said to him, what is that is in your hand? And he said, a rod. And he said, throw it to the ground. So he threw it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moshe fled from it. And Yahweh said to Moshe, reach out your hand and catch it by the tail. So he reached out his hand and seized it, and it became a rod in his hand, so that they believe that Yahweh Elohim of their fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, the Elohim of Jacob has appeared to you. And Yahweh said to him again, now put your hand in your bosom. And he put his hand in his bosom. And when he took it out, and he see his hand was leprous like snow. And he said, put your hand in your bosom again. So he put his hand in his bosom again, and drew it out of his bosom. And see, it was restored like his other flesh. And it shall be, if they do not believe you, nor listen to the voice of the first sign, then they shall believe the voice of the later sign. And it shall be, if they do not believe even these two signs, or listen to your voice, that you shall take water from the river and pour on it on the dry land, and the water which you take from the river shall become blood on the dry land. And Moshe said to Yahweh, O Yahweh, I am not a man of words, neither before nor since you have spoken to your servant, for I am slow of speech and slow of tongue. And Yahweh said to him, who has made man's mouth, or who makes dumb, or deaf, or sick, or blind? Is it not I, Yahweh? And now go, and I shall be with your mouth, and teach you what to say. But he said, O Yahweh, please send the hand of him whom you will Pharaoh said, see, the people of the land are many now, and you make them ceases from their burdens. And the same day Pharaoh commanded the slave drivers of the people and their foremen, saying, you are no longer to give the people straw to make bricks as before. Let them go and gather straw for themselves, and lay on them the required amount of bricks which they made before. Do not diminish it, for they are idle. That is why they cry out, saying, let us go and slaughter to our Elohim. Let more work be laid on the men, so that they labor in it, and do not pay attention to the words of falsehood. And the slave drivers of the people and their foremen went out and spoke to the people, saying, thus says Pharaoh, I do not give you straw. Go take straw for yourself wherever you find it. For your work shall not be diminished. And the people were scattered in all the land of Israel to gather stubble for the straw, and the slave drivers were hurrying them on, saying, complete your work, your daily amount, as when there was a straw. Also the foremen of the children of Israel, whom Pharaoh's slave drivers had appointed over them, were beaten and were asked, why have you not completed your work, your task in making bricks both yesterday and today as before? And the foremen of the children of Israel came and cried to Pharaoh, saying, why do you treat your servants this way? There is no straw given to your servants. And they said to us, make bricks. And see, your servants are beaten, but your own people are at fault. But he said, you are idle, you are idle. That is why you say, let us go and slaughter to Yahweh. So go work, and straw is not given to you, but deliver the amount of bricks. And the foremen of the children of Israel saw that they were in trouble after it was said, you are not to diminish your daily amounts of bricks. And when they came out from Pharaoh, they met Moshe and Aaron, who stood there to meet them. And they said to them, let Yahweh look on you and judge, because you have made us loathsome in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of his servants, to give a sword in their hands to kill us. And Moshe returned to Yahweh and said, Yahweh, why have you done evil to these people? Why did you send me? Forever since I came to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he has done evil to these people, and you have not delivered the people at all. Genesis chapter 6, verse number 1. And Yahweh said to Moshe, now see what I do to Pharaoh, for with a strong hand he is going to let them go, and with a strong hand he is going to drive them out of his land. And Elohim spoke to Moshe and said to him, I am Yahweh, and I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob as El Shaddai, and by my name Yahweh was I not known to them? And I also said, establish my covenant with them, to give them the land of Canaan, the land of their sojournings, in which they have sojourned. And I have also have the groaning of the children of Israel, whom the Mizraelites are enslaving, and I have remembered my covenant. Say, therefore, to the children of Israel, I am Yahweh, and I shall bring you out of from under the burdens of the Mizraelites, and shall deliver you from their enslaving, and shall redeem you with the outstretched arm and with great judgments, and shall take you as my people, and I shall be your Elohim, and you shall know that I am Yahweh your Elohim, who is bringing you out of the land under the burdens of the Mizraelites. And I shall bring you into the land which I swore to give to Abraham and to Isaac and to Jacob, and to give it to you as an inheritance. I am Yahweh. And Moshe spoke thus to the children of Israel, but they did not listen to Moshe because of the shortness of spirit and from hard slavery. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, go in, speak to Pharaoh, the sovereign of Israel, and to let the children of Israel go out of his land. And Moshe spoke before Yahweh, saying, the children of Israel are not listened to me. And why would Pharaoh listen to me? And for I am uncircumcised lips. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, and gave them a command for the children of Israel and to Pharaoh, sovereign of Mizraim, and to bring the children of Israel out of the land of Mizraim. These are the heads of their fathers' houses, the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, Hanok and Palu, Hezron and Kami. These are the clans of Reuben. And the sons of Shimon, Yamuel and Yamin and Ohad and Yakin and Soal and Shaul, the son of Canaanite woman. These are the clans of Shimon. These are the names of the sons of Levi according to their generations: Gershon and Kehath and Merari. And the years of the life of Levi were 137. The sons of Gershon, Ribni and Shimini, according to their clans. And the sons of Kehath, Amram and Itzal and Hezron and Uzziel. And the years of the life of Kehath were 133. And the sons of Merari, Machri and Mushi. These are the clans of Levi according to their generations. And Amram took to himself Jochebed, his father's sister, as wife, and she bore him Aharon and Moshe. And the years of the life of Amram were 137. And the sons of Israel, Korah and Nepuheg and Zikri. And the sons of Uzziel, Mishael and Estaphan and Yithri. And Aaron took to himself Elisheba, daughter Aminadab's sister of Nason, as a wife, and she bore to him Nadab and Abihu, Erazal and Ithamar. The sons of Korah, Ashi, Elkanah and Abiashaph. These are the clans of the Korhites. And Eleazar, Aharon's sons, took for himself one of the daughters of Putiel as wife, and she bore to him Phinehas. These are the heads of the fathers of the Levites according to their clans. This is Aaron and Moshe, to whom Yahweh said, bring the children of Israel from the land of Mizraim according to their divisions. They were the sons who spoke to Pharaoh, sovereign of Mizraim, to bring out the children of Israel from the land of Mizraim. This is Moshe and Aharon. And it came to be on the day when Yahweh spoke to Moshe in the land of Mizraim, that Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, I am Yahweh, speak to Pharaoh, sovereign of Mizraim, and I say to you. And Moshe said before Yahweh, see, I am of uncircumcised lips, and why would Pharaoh listen to me?
Exodus chapter 7. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, see, I have made you an Elohim to Pharaoh, and Aaron your brother shall be your prophet. And you shall speak all that I have commanded you, and Aaron your brother shall speak unto Pharaoh, that he send the children of Israel out of this land. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. But Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that I may lay my hand upon Egypt, and bring forth my armies, and the people and the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by great judgment. And the Egyptians shall know, that I am Yahweh, when I stretch forth my hand upon Egypt, and bring out the children of Israel from among you. And Moses and Aaron did as Yahweh had commanded them. And Moses was 80 years old, and Aaron 83 years old, when they spoke unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh spoke unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, when Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, show a miracle for you, you shall say unto Aaron, take the rod and cast it before Pharaoh, and it shall become a serpent. And Moshe and Aaron went in unto Pharaoh, and they did so as Yahweh had commanded. And Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh and before his servant, and it became a serpent. Then Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers, now the magician of Egypt. They also did in like manner with their enchantments, for they cast down every man his rod, and they became serpents. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods, and he hardened Pharaoh's heart, that he hardened not unto them, as Yahweh had said. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Pharaoh's heart is hardened, he refuses to let the people go. Get you unto Pharaoh in the morning. Lo, he goes out unto the water, and you shall stand by the river brink against he come, and the rod which was turned to a serpent you shall take in time in your hand. And you shall say unto him, Yahweh Elohim of the Hebrews have sent me unto you, saying, let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. And behold, here there too, you wouldn't not hear. Thus saith Yahweh, you shall know that I am Yahweh. Behold, I will smite you with the rod that is in my hand upon the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood. And the fish that is in the river shall die, and the river shall stink, and the Egyptians shall loathe to drink the water of the river. And Yahweh spoke unto Moshe, saying, and Yahweh spoke unto Moshe, saying unto Aaron, take thy rod and stretch out thy hand upon the waters of Egypt, upon their stream, upon their rivers, and upon their ponds, and upon all the pools of the water, that they may become blood, and that they may be blood throughout all the land of the Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. And Moshe and Aaron did so as Yahweh commanded, and he lifted the rod and smote the waters that were in the river in the sight of Pharaoh and in the sight of his servant, and all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood. And the fish was in the river died, and the river stank, and the Egyptian could not drink the waters of the river, and there was blood throughout the land of the Egypt. And the magician of the Egypt did so with their enchantment, and Pharaoh's heart was hardened, neither did he hearken unto them as Yahweh had said. And Pharaoh turned and went into his house, neither did he set his heart to this also. And all the Egyptians digged round about the river for water to drink, for they could not drink of the water of the river. And 7 days were fulfilled. After that, Yahweh had smitten the river.
Genesis chapter 8, Exodus chapter 8, verse number 1. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, go to Pharaoh and say to him, thus says Yahweh, let my people go, so that they serve me. But if you refuse to let them go, see, I am smiting all your border with frogs, and the river shall swim with frogs, which shall go up and shall come into your house, and into your bedroom, and on your bed, and into your houses of your servants, and unto your people, and into your ovens, and into your kneading bowls. And the frogs shall come up on you, and your people, and on all your servants. And Yahweh said to Moshe, say to Aaron, stretch out your hand with your rod over the streams, over the rivers, and over the ponds that causes the frogs to come up on the land of Mizraim. And to Aaron stretched out his hand over the waters of Mizraim, and the frogs came up and covered the land of Mizraim. And the magicians did so with their magic, and brought up frogs on the land of Mizraim. Pharaoh then called for Moshe and Aaron and said, pray to Yahweh to take away the frogs from me and from my people, and I shall let the people go and slaughter to Yahweh. And Moshe said to Pharaoh, explain yourself to me. When am I to pray for you and for your servants and for your people to destroy the frogs from you and your houses and remain only in the river? So he said, tomorrow. And he said, let it be according to your word, so that you know that there is no one like Yahweh, our Elohim. And the frogs shall turn aside from you and from your houses and from your servants and from your people. They shall remain in the river only. And Moshe and Aaron went out from Pharaoh, and Moshe cried out to Yahweh concerning the frogs which he had brought against Pharaoh. And Yahweh did according to the word of Moshe, and the frogs died out of the houses and out of the courtyards and out of the fields. And they gathered them together in heaps in the land of Stank. And when Pharaoh saw that there was a relief, he hardened his heart and did not listen to them as Yahweh had said. And Yahweh said to Moshe, say to Aaron, stretch out your rod and strike the dust of the land, so that it becomes grass, and all the land of Mizraim. And they did so, and Aaron stretched out his hand with a rod and struck the dust of the earth, and it became grass on the man and beast, and all the dust of the land became grass in all the land of Mizraim. And the magicians did similarly with their magic to bring forth gnats, but they were unable, and there were gnats on man and beast. The magicians then said to Pharaoh, this is the finger of Elohim. But the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and did not listen to them as Yahweh has said. And Yahweh said to Moshe, rise early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh, and as he comes out of the water, and say to him, thus says Yahweh, let my people go, so that they serve me. Or else, if you do not let my people go, see, I am sending swarms of flies on you and your servants and on your people, and into the houses and the houses of Mizraelites, and shall be filled with swarms of flies. and also the ground of which they stand. And in that day I shall separate the land of Goshen, in which my people dwell, that no swarms of flies shall be there, so that you know that I am Yahweh in the midst of the land. And I shall put a distinction between my people and your people. Tomorrow this sign shall be. And Yahweh did so, and thick swarms of flies came to the houses of Pharaoh, and into the servants' houses, and into all the land of Mizraim. And the land was ruined because of the swarms of flies. Pharaoh then called for Moshe and Aaron and said, Go slaughter to Yahweh your Elohim in the land. And Moshe said, It is not right to do so, for we will be slaughtering the abomination of the Mizraelites to Yahweh our Elohim. See, if we slaughter the abomination of the Mizraelites before their eyes, will they not stone us? Let us go 3 days' journey into the wilderness. Then we shall slaughter to Yahweh our Elohim, as he commands us. And Pharaoh said, I am letting you go. Then you shall slaughter to Yahweh your Elohim in the wilderness, only do not go very far away. Pray for me. And Moshe said, See, when I leave you, I shall pray to Yahweh, and tomorrow the swarms for flies shall depart from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people. But do not let Pharaoh again deceive, not to let the people to go to slaughter to Yahweh. And Moshe went out from Pharaoh and prayed to Yahweh. And Yahweh did according to the word of Moshe, and removed the swarms of flies from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people. Not one remained. But Pharaoh hardened his heart at this time too, and he did not let the people go. Exodus chapter 9, verse number 1. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Go into Pharaoh and speak to him. Thus says Yahweh, Elohim of the Ephraim, Let my people go, so that they serve me. For if you refuse to let them go and still hold them, see, the hand of Yahweh is on your livestock in the field, on the horses and the donkeys, on the camels, on the cattle, and on the sheep, and very grievous pestilence. And Yahweh shall separate between the livestock of Israel and the livestock of Mizraim, and let no matter die of all that belongs to the children of Israel. And Yahweh made an appointed time, saying, Tomorrow Yahweh is going to do this word in the land. And Yahweh did this word on the next day, and all the livestock of Israel died, but of all the livestock of the children of Israel, not one died. Then Pharaoh sent and see, not even one of the livestock of Israelites was dead. But the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he did not let the people go. And Yahweh said to Moshe and Aaron, Fill your hands with ashes from furnace, and let Moshe scatter it toward the Shamaim before the eyes of Pharaoh. And it shall become the fine dust in all the land of Mizraim, and it shall cause boils that broke out in shoals on man and beast in all the land of Mizraim. So they took ashes from the furnace and stood before Pharaoh, and Moshe scattered them toward the Mizraim, the Shamaim, and they caused boils speaking out in souls on man and beast. And the magicians were unable to stand before Moshe because of the boils, for the boils were on the magicians and on all the Mizraelites. But Yahweh hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he did not listen to them, as Yahweh had said to Moshe. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Rise early in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh, and say to him, Thus says Yahweh, Elohim of Ephraim, Let my people go, so that they serve me. For all this time I am sending all my plagues unto your heart, and on your servants, and on your people, so that you know that there is none like me in all the earth. Now, if I had stretched out my hand and struck you and your people with pestilence, then you would have been cut off from the earth. And for this reason I have raised you up, in order to, and all that you have in the field to the hail shall come down on every man and every beast which is found in the field, and is not brought home, and they shall die. Those among the servants of Pharaoh who revealed the word of Yahweh made their servants and livestock free to the houses, but those who did not read their heart of the word of Yahweh left their servants and livestock in the field. Then Yahweh said to Moshe, Stretch out your hand toward the Shamaim, and let there be hail in all the land of Mizraim, on man and on the beast, and on every plant of the field throughout the land of Mizraim. Then Moshe stretched out his rod toward the Shamaim, and Yahweh sent thunder and hail, and fire came down to the earth, and Yahweh rained hail to the land of Mizraim. Thus there came to be hail and fire flashing continually in the midst of the hail, very heavy, such as had not all the land of Mizraim since it became a nation. And the hail smote in all the land of Mizraim, and all that was in the field, both man and beast, and all the hail smote every plant of the field, and broke every tree of the field. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, there was no hail. Pharaoh then sent and called to for Moshe and for Aaron, and said to them, I have seen this time. Yahweh is righteous, and my people and I are wicked. Pray to Yahweh, for there has been enough of the thunder and the hail of Elohim, and I am letting you go, so that you stay no longer. And Moshe said to him, as soon as I go out of the city, let me spread out my hands, and to Yahweh, let the thunder cease and the hail be no more, so that you know that the earth belongs to Yahweh. But as for you and your servants, I know that you do not yet fear before Yahweh Elohim. And the flax or the berry was smitten. The berry was in the head, and the flax was in the bud. But the wheat and the spelt were not smitten, for they were red crops. And Moshe went out of the city from Pharaoh and spread out his hand to Yahweh. And the thunder and the hail ceased, and the rain was not poured on the earth. And Pharaoh saw that the rain and the hail and the thunder had ceased. Yet he sinned again. He hardened his heart and his servants. And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he did not let the children of Israel go as Yahweh had said through Moshe. Exodus chapter 10, verse number 1. And Yahweh said to Moshe, go into Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart and the hearts of his servants, so that I know these signs of mine before him, and that you relate in the hearing of your sons and your sons' sons what I have done in Mizraim, and my signs which I have done among them, and you shall know that I am Yahweh. And Moshe and Aaron came in to Pharaoh and said to him, thus said Yahweh Elohim of Ephraim, till when shall you refuse to humble yourself before me? Let my people go, so that they serve me. Or else, if you refuse to let my people go, see, tomorrow I am bringing locusts within your borders, and they shall cover the surface of the land, so that no one is able to see the land, and they shall eat the rest of what has escaped, which remains to you from the hill. And they shall eat up every green tree which grows up for you out of the field, and they shall fill your houses and the houses of all your servants, and the houses of all the misery, which neither your fathers nor your fathers' fathers have seen, since the day that they were on earth to this day. Then he turned and went out from Pharaoh. And Pharaoh's servants said to him, till when will this one be as near to us? Let them go, so that they serve Yahweh, the Elohim. Do you not yet know that the Mizraim is destroyed? And Moshe and Aaron were brought back to Pharaoh, and he said to them, go serve Yahweh your Elohim, who are the ones that are going. And Moshe said, we are going with our young and our old, with our sons and with our daughters, our flocks and our herds. We are going, for we have a festival to Yahweh. And he said to them, let Yahweh be with you as I let you and your little ones go. Watch, for evil is before your face. Not so, you men go now and serve Yahweh, for that is what you desired. And they were driven out from the presence of Pharaoh. And Yahweh said to Moshe, stretch out your hand over the land of Mizraim, for the locusts to come upon the land of Mizraim, and eat every plant of the land. And all the hail has left. And Moshe stretched out his rod over the land of Mizraim, and Yahweh brought in east wind on the land, and all the day and all the night. Morning came, and the east wind brought the locust. And the locust went up over all the land of Mizraim, and settled within all the borders of Mizraim, very grievous. There have never been locusts like them before, nor will there again be like them. And they covered the surface of all the land, so that the land was darkened. And they ate every plant of the land and all the fruit of the trees which the hail had reft. And no greenness was left on the trees or on the plants of the field in all the land of Mizraim. Pharaoh then called for Moshe and Aaron in haste and said, I have sinned against Yahweh your Elohim and against you. And now please bear my sin only this once, and pray to Yahweh your Elohim, that he would only turn away this death from me. And he went out from Pharaoh and prayed to Yahweh. And Yahweh turned a very strong west wind, which took the locusts away and blew them into the sea of reeds. Not one locust was left within all the borders of Mizraim. However, Yahweh hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he did not let the children of Israel go. And Yahweh said to Moshe, stretch out your hand toward the Shamaim, and let there be darkness over the land of all the Mizraim, even in a darkness which is left. And Moshe stretched out his hand toward the Shamaim, and there was thick darkness in all the land of Mizraim for 3 days. And they did not see one another, nor did anyone rise from his place for 3 days. While all the children of Israel had right in their dwellings, and Pharaoh called to Moshe and said, go serve Yahweh, only leave your flocks and your herds behind. Let your little ones go with you too. But Moshe said, you yourself, you are to provide us with slaughterings and burnt offerings to prepare for Yahweh our Elohim. And our livestock are to go with us too. Not a hoof is to be left behind. For we have to take some of them to serve Yahweh our Elohim, and we ourselves do not know with what we are to serve Yahweh until we come there. However, Yahweh hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he would not let them go. And Pharaoh said to him, get away from me, watch yourself, see my face no more, for in the day you see my face, you die. And Moshe said, you have spoken rightly, never again do I see your face.
Exodus chapter 11. And Yahweh said unto Moses, yet will I bring one plague more upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterwards he will let you go hence. When he shall let you go, he shall surely thrust you out hence altogether. Speak now in the ears of the people, and let every man borrow of his neighbor and every woman of his neighbor jewels of silver and jewels of gold. And Yahweh gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptian. Moreover, the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt, and in the sight of Pharaoh's servant, and in the sight of his people. And Moses said, thus saith Yahweh, about midnight will I go out in the midst of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that smiteth upon his throne, even unto the firstborn of all maid servant that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of beasts. And there shall be great cry throughout the land of Egypt, such as there was none like it, nor shall it be any more. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that you may know how that Yahweh doth put a difference between Egyptians and Israelites. And all this your servant shall come down upon me, and bow down yourself unto me, saying, get you out of the people that follow you, and after that I will go out. And he went out from Pharaoh in a great anger. And Yahweh said unto Moses, Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt. And Moses and Aaron did all these wonders before Pharaoh, and Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's heart, so that he will not let the children of Israel go out of this land. Exodus chapter 12. And Yahweh spoke unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak you unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month you shall take to them every man a lamp according to the house of their fathers, a lamp for an house. And if the household be too little for the lamp, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the soul. Every man according to his soul, every man according to eating shall make your account for the lamp. Your lamp shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. You shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and you shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And you shall take the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper door post of the house, wherein you shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire, and unleavened bread, and with bitter herb they shall eat it. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast it with fire, his head with his legs, and with the butternance thereof. And you shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remain of it until the morning you shall burn with fire. And thus says, and thus shall you eat it with the loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And you shall eat it in haste. It is Yahweh's Passover. For I will pass through land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn of the land of Egypt, both man and the beast, and against all the mighty ones of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am Yahweh. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over, and the plagues shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and you shall keep a feast to Yahweh throughout your generation. You shall keep it a feast by the ordinance forever. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. Even the first day you shall put away leaven out of your house. For whosoever eats leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. And in the first day there shall be a holy convocation, and on the 7th day there shall be a holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done to you. And you shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in the self same day that I have brought your armies of the land of Egypt, therefore you shall observe this day in your generation by the ordinance forever. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month, at even, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at even. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses, for whosoever eat that which is leaven, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger nor born in the land. You shall eat nothing leaven in your habitation, shall you eat unleavened bread. Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take you a lamb according to your families, and kill the Passover. And you shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood, and in the basin, and strike the lintel and the 2 side posts with the blood that is in the basin. And none of you shall go out at the door of his house until the morning. For Yahweh will pass through and smite the Egyptian, and when he sees the blood upon the lintel and on the 2 side posts, Yahweh will pass over the door, and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you. And you shall observe this thing for the ordinance to you and to your son forever. And it shall come to pass when you be come of the land which Yahweh will give you according to he hath promised, that you shall keep this service. And it shall come to pass when your children shall say unto you, what you mean by this service? That you shall say, it is the sacrifice of Yahweh's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptian and delivered our houses. And the people bowed the head and worship. And the children of Israel went away and did as Yahweh had commanded Moshe and Aaron, so did they. And it came to pass that at midnight Yahweh smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the Dagon, and all the firstborn of the cattle. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and his servant, and all the Egyptian. And there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead. And he called for Moshe and Aaron by night and said, rise up and get you forth from among my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go serve Yahweh as you have said. Also take your flocks and your herd as you have said, and be gone, and bless me also. And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people, that they might send them out of the land in haste. For they said, we be all dead men. And the people took their duff before it was leavened, and their kindles being brought up in their clothes upon their shoulders. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moshe, and they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver, jewels of gold, and raiment. And Yahweh gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such thing as they required, that they spoiled the Egyptians. And the children of Israel sojourneyed from Ramesses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot, that were men beside children. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, the flocks and the herds, even very much cattle. And they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they brought forth out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, because they were brought off of Egypt, and could not tarry, neither had they prepared for themselves any victual. Now the sojourner of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt were 430 years. And it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the self same day, it came to pass that all the host of Yahweh went out from the land of Egypt. It is a night to be much observed unto Yahweh, for bringing them out of the land of Egypt. This is that night of Yahweh to be observed of all the children of Israel in their generation. And Yahweh said unto Moshe and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall be no stranger eat therefore, but every man servant that is in brought for money, when you have circumcised him, then he shall eat therefore. A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat therefore. In one house shall it be eaten. You shall not carry forth out of the flesh abroad of the houses, neither shall you break a bone therefore. And all the congregation of Israel shall keep it. And when a stranger shall sojourn with you, and will keep the Passover of Yahweh, let him his male be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat therefore. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourners among you. Thus did all the children of Israel as Yahweh had commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. And it came to pass the same day that Yahweh did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies.
Exodus chapter number 13, verse number 1. And Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Kodesh to me all the firstborns, the one of the opening of the womb among the children of Israel. Among the man, among the beast, it is mine. And Moses said to the people, remember this day of which you went out of the Mizraim, out of the house of slavery, for by the strength of the hand of Yahweh brought you out of this place, and whatever is living that not to be eaten. Today you are going out in the month of Abib, and it shall be when Yahweh brings you into the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, which he swore to you, our fathers, and to give you, and the flowing milk with honey, that you shall keep this service in the month. 7 days you eat unleavened bread, and find on the 7th day is a festival to Yahweh. Unleavened bread is to be eaten for 7 days, and whatever is leavened is not to be seen with you, and for the leaven is to be seen with you within all your border. And you shall inform your sons in that day, saying, it is because of what Yahweh did for me when I came out from Israel. And it shall be a sign to you in your hand, and it shall be remember between you your eyes, that the Torah of Yahweh to be in the month, for with a strong hand Yahweh has brought you out of the land of Mizraim. And you shall guard this law, its appointed time from year to year, and it shall be when Yahweh brings you into the land of the Canaanites, as he swore to you and to your fathers, and he gives it to you, that you shall pass over the Yahweh, every one opening the womb, and every firstborn that comes from your livestock, the males belongs to Yahweh. But every firstborn of the donkey you are to ransom with a lamb. And if you do not ransom it, then you shall break its neck. And every firstborn of a man among your sons you are to ransom. And it shall be, when your sons ask you in time to come, saying, what is this? Then you shall say to them, by the strength of the hand of Yahweh brought us out of the land of Israel, out of the house of bondage. And it came to be, when Pharaoh was too hardened and let us go, that Yahweh killed every firstborn in the land of Mizraim, both the firstborn of the man and the firstborn of the beast. Therefore I am slaughtering to Yahweh every male that opens the womb, but every firstborn of my sons I ransom. And it shall be a sign in your hand, and as fortress between your eyes, for by the strength of the hand of Yahweh has brought us out of the land of Mizraim. And it came to be, when Pharaoh had let the people go, that Elohim did not lead them by way of the land of the Perishite through that was near. For Elohim said, lest the people regret when they see fighting, and return to Mizraim. So Elohim led the people around by the way of the wilderness of the Sea of Reeds. And the children of Israel went up armed from the land of Mizraim. And Moshe took the bones of Joseph with him, for certainly made the children of Israel swear, saying, Elohim certainly visit you, and you shall bring my bones from here with you. And they departed from Succoth and come to Etham at the edge of the wilderness. And Yahweh went before them by day in a column of cloud, and to lead the way, and by night in a column of fire, to give them the right, as so as to go by day and night. The column of cloud did not cease by day, nor the column of fire by night before the people. Exodus chapter 14 verse number 1. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Israel, that they turn the camp before Pi Hahiroth, between Migdol and the sea opposite Baal-Zephon, camp before it by the sea. For Pharaoh shall say to the children of Israel, they are entangled in the land, and the wilderness has closed them in. And I shall harden the heart of Pharaoh, and he shall pursue them, but I am to be esteemed through Pharaoh and over all the army, and the Israelites shall know that I am Yahweh. And they did so. And it was reported to the sovereign of Israel that the people had fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and his servants were turned against the people. And they said, why have we done this? What are we? Let Israel go from serving us. So he made his chariot ready. And took his people with him, and he took 600 chosen chariots, and all the chariots of Israel were officers over all of them. And Yahweh hardened the heart of Pharaoh, sovereign one of Israel, and he pursued the children of Israel. But the children of Israel went out with a high hand, and the Israelites pursued them, and all the horses of the chariots and for Pharaoh and the horsemen and his army, and reached them camping by the sea beside Pi-Hahiroth before Baal-Zephon. And when Pharaoh drew near, the children of Israel lifted their eyes and saw the Israelites coming up after them. And they were greatly afraid. To the children of Israel cried out to Yahweh. And they said to Moshe, did you take us away to die in the wilderness? Because there are no graves in Mizraim. What is this that you have done to us to bring us up out of Mizraim? Is this not the word that we spoke to you in Mizraim, saying, leave us alone, let us serve the Israelites? For it would have been better for us to serve the Israelites than to die in the wilderness. And Moshe said to the people, do not be afraid, stand still and see the deliverance of Yahweh, which he does for you today. For the Israelites whom you see today, you will never to see again. And Yahweh fights for you, and you keep silent. And Yahweh said to Moshe, why do you cry to me? Speak to the children of Israel and let them go forward. And you lift up your rod and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it, and let the children of Israel go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. And I see I am hardening the hearts of the Israelites, and they shall follow them. And I am to be esteemed through Pharaoh and over all his army, his chariots and his horsemen. And the Israelites shall know that I am Yahweh. And when I am esteemed through Pharaoh, his chariots and his horsemen. And the messenger of Elohim who went before the camp of Israel moved and went behind them. And the column of cloud went from before them and stood behind them, and came between the camp of Israelites and the camp of Israel. And it was the cloud and the darkness, and it day and by night, and the one did not come near the other all the night. And Moshe stretched out his hand over the sea, and Yahweh caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea into a dry land, and the waters were divided. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea on a dry ground, and the waters were walled to them on their right and on their left. And the Israelites pursued and went after them into the midst of the sea, all the horses of Pharaoh, his chariots and his horsemen. And it came to be in the morning watch that Yahweh looked down upon the army of Israelites through the column of fire and the cloud, and he brought the army of the Israelites into confusion, and he took off the chariots' wheels so that they drove them with difficulty. And the Israelites said, let us flee from the face of Israel, for Yahweh fights for them against the Israelites. Then Yahweh said to Moshe, stretch out your hand over the sea, and let the waters come back upon the Israelites on their chariots and their horsemen. And Moshe stretched out his hand over the sea, and the sea returned into its usual flow, and the break of the day, with the Israelites fleeing into it. Thus Yahweh overthrew the Israelites in the midst of the sea, and the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the army of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them, and not even one was left of them. And the children of Israel walked on a dry ground in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall to them on the right and on the left. Thus Yahweh saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Israelites, and Israel saw the Israelites dead on the seashore, and Israel saw the great work which Yahweh had done in Mizraim, and the people rebelled Yahweh and bereaved Yahweh and his servant Moshe. Exodus chapter 15, verse number 1. Then Moshe and the children of Israel sang the song to Yahweh and spoke, saying, I sing to Yahweh, for he is highly exalted. The horse and its rider he has thrown into the sea. Yah is my strength and song, and he has become my deliverance. He is my El. I praise him. Elohim of my father, I exalt him. Yahweh is a man of battle. Yahweh is his name. He cast Pharaoh's chariots and his army into the sea, and his chosen officers are drawn in the sea of reeds. The depths covered them. They went down to the bottom like a stone. Your right hand, O Yahweh, has become a great in power. Your right hand, O Yahweh, has crushed the enemy. And in the greatness of your excellency, you pulled down those who rose up against you and sent forth your wrath. It consumed them like stubble. And with the wind of your nostrils, the waters were heaped up. The flood stood like a wall. The depths became stiff in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I pursue, I overtake. I divided the spoil. By my being is satisfied on them. I draw out my sword. My hand destroys them. You blew with your wind. The sea covered them. They sank like reed in the mighty waters. Who is like you, O Yahweh, among the mighty ones? Who is like you, O great of Kodeshah? I will sum in praises, working wonders. You stretched on your right hand, the earth swallowed them. In your kindness you led the people whom you have redeemed. In your strength you guided them to your Kodesh dwelling. People's heart they trembled. Anguish gripped in the inhabitants of Pereseth. Then the chiefs of Edom were troubled. The mighty men of Moab trembled, gripped them. All the inhabitants of Canaan melted. Fear and dread fell on them. By the greatness of your arm, they are silent as a stone until your people pass over, O Yahweh. Until the people whom you have brought pass over, you bring them in and plant them in the mountain of your inheritance, in the praise, O Yahweh, which you have made for your own dwelling, the Mikdash, O Yahweh, which your hands has prepared. Yahweh reigns forever and forever. And for the horses of Pharaoh went with his chariots and his horsemen into the sea, and Yahweh brought back the waters in the sea upon them, and the children of Israel went on a dry ground in the midst of the sea. And Miriam, the Nebiah, the sister of Aaron, took the timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances. And Miriam answered them, saying to Yahweh, for he is highly exalted. The horse and its rider he has thrown into the sea. And Moshe brought Israel from the sea reeds, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. And they came to Marah, and they were unable to drink the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. So the name it was called Marah. And the people grumbled against Moshe, saying, what are we to drink? Then he cried out to Yahweh, and Yahweh showed him a tree. And when he threw it into the waters were made sweet. There he made a row and a right ruling for them, and there he tried them. And he said, if you diligently obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim, and do what is right in his eyes, and shall listen to his command, and shall guard all his laws, I shall bring on you none of the diseases I brought on the Mizraelites, for I am Yahweh who heals you. And they came to Erim, where there were 12 fountains of water and 70 palms of trees. And they camped there by the waters.
Exodus chapter 20. Exodus chapter 16. And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came out to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month, after their departing out of the land of Egypt. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moshe and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said unto them, oh, that we had died by the hand of Yahweh in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full. For you have sought forth into the wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. Then said Yahweh unto Moshe, behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or not. And it came to pass that on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. And Moshe and Aaron said unto the children of Israel, At even you shall know that Yahweh hath brought you out of the land of Egypt. And in the morning ye shall see the glory of Yahweh, for that he heareth your murmuring against Yahweh. And what are we that we murmur against us? And Moses said, This shall be when Yahweh shall give you in the evening flesh to eat, and in the morning bread to the full. For that Yahweh heareth your murmuring, which you murmur against him. And what are we? Your murmuring are not against us, but against Yahweh. And Moshe spoke unto Aaron, saying, Unto all congregation of the children of Israel, Come near before Yahweh, for he hath heard your murmuring. And it came to pass, as Aaron spoke unto the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked toward the wilderness, and behold, the glory of Yahweh appeared in the crowd. And Yahweh spoke unto Moshe, saying, I have heard the murmuring of the children of Israel. Speak unto them, saying, At even you shall eat flesh, and in the morning you shall be filled with bread, and you shall know that I am Yahweh your Elohim. And it came to pass that at even the quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning the dew lay round about the host. And when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, the face of the wilderness they lay a small round thing, as small as the hoar frost on the ground. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, It is manna, for they wist not what it was. And Moses said unto them, This is the bread which Yahweh hath given you to eat. This is the thing which Yahweh has commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating. An omer for every man according to the number of your person. Take you every man for them which are in his tent. And the children of Israel did so, gathered some and some less. Gathered more, some more, and some less. And when they did measure it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over. He that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating. And Moshe said, Let no man live of it till the morning. Notwithstanding they hearkened not unto Moses, but some of them left it until the morning. And it bred worms and stank. And Moses was wroth with them. And they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating. And when the sun waxed hot, it melted. And it came to pass that on the 6th day, they gathered twice as much as bread, 2 omer for a man. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moshe. And he said unto them, This is that which Yahweh had said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto Yahweh. Bake that which you bake today, and sieve that which you will sieve, and that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until morning. And they laid it up till the morning as Moshe bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein. And Moshe said, Eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto Yahweh. Today you shall not find it in the field. 6 days you shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be none. And it came to pass that they went out some of the people on the 7th day for to gather, and they found none. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, How long refuse you to keep my commandments and my law? See, for that Yahweh hath given you the Sabbath, therefore he giveth you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. Abide you every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day, and the house of Israel called the name therefore manna, and it was like coriander seed white, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. And Moshe said, This is the thing which Yahweh commanded. Fill an omer of it to be kept for your generation, that they may see the bread wherewith I have fed you in the wilderness, when I brought you forth from the land of Egypt. And Moses said unto Aaron, Take a pot, and put an omer full of manna therein, and lay it up before Yahweh to be kept for your generation. As Yahweh commanded Moses, so Aaron laid it up before the testimony to be kept. And the children of Israel did eat manna 40 years, until they came to a land inhabited. They did eat manna until they came unto the borders of the land of Canaan. Now, an omer is the 10th part of an ephah.
Exodus chapter 17, verse number 1. And all the congregation of the children of Israel departed on their journey from the wilderness of Sin, according to the command of Yahweh, and camped in Rephidim, and there was no water for the people to drink. Therefore people strove with Moshe and said, Give us water to drink. And Moshe said to them, why do you strive with me? Why do you try Yahweh? And the people thirsted there for water, and the people grumbled against Moshe and said, why did you bring us out of Mizraim to kill us and our children and our livestock with thirst? Then Moshe cried out to Yahweh, saying, what am I to do with these people? Yet a little, and they shall stone me. And Yahweh said to Moshe, pass over before the people, and take with you some of the elders of Israel, and take in your hand your rod with which you struck the river, and go. See, I am standing before you there on the rock in Horeb, and you shall smite the rock, and the water shall come out of it, and the people shall drink. And Moshe did so before the eyes of the elders of Israel, and he called the name of that place Massa and Meribah, because of the strife of the children of Israel, and because they tried Yahweh, saying, is Yahweh in our midst or not? And Amalek came and fought with Israel in Rephidim, and Moshe said to Yahushua, choose for us men, and go out fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I am standing myself on the top of the hill with the rod of Elohim in my hand. And Yahushua did as Moshe said to him, to fight with Amalek. And Moshe, Aaron, and the whole went up in the top of the hill. And it came to be when Moshe held up his hand that Israel prevailed, and when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moshe's hands were heavy, so they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it. And Aaron and the whole supported his hands on one side, and the other on the other side. And his hands were steady until the going of the sun. And Joshua defeated Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And Yahweh said to Moshe, write this for the remembrance in the book, and recite in the hearing of Joshua, that I shall completely blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under the Shamayim. And Moshe built an altar and called its name Yahweh Nissi. For he said, because the hand is on the throne of Yah, Yahweh is to fight against Amalek from generation to generation. Exodus or Shemot chapter 18 verse number 1. And Yithro, the Kohen of Midian, Moshe's father-in-law, and Yithro, Moshe's father-in-law, took Zipporah, the wife of Moshe, after he had sent her back, and her two sons, whom the name one were Gershom, for he said, I have been a sojourner in a foreign land. And the name of the other son was Eliezer, for he said, the Elohim of my father was my help and my deliverer, me from the sword of Pharaoh. Yethro, Moshe's father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife to Moshe in the wilderness, where he was encamped at the mountain of Elohim. And he had said to Moshe, I, your father-in-law Yethro, am coming to you with your wife and her two sons with her. And Moshe went out to meet his father-in-law and bowed down and kissed him. And they asked each other about their warfare, and they went into the tent. And Moshe told his father-in-law all that Yahweh has done to Pharaoh and all to the Israelites for the Israelites' sake, and all hardship that had come upon them on the way, and how Yahweh had delivered them. And Yethro rejoiced for all the good which Yahweh had done for Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hand of Mizrahites. And Yethro said, Baruch be Yahweh, whom has delivered you out of the hand of the Mizrahites, and out of the hand of Pharaoh, of whom has delivered the people from under the hand of Mizrahites. Now I know that Yahweh is greater than all the mighty ones, for in the matter in which they acted proudly above them. Then Yethro, the father-in-law of Moshe, brought and burnt offering and other slaughterings unto Elohim. And Aharon came with all the elders of Israel to eat bread with the father-in-law of Moshe before Elohim. And it came to be on the next day that Moshe satirically ruled the people. And the people stood before Moshe from morning until evening. And when the father-in-law of Moshe saw all that he did for the people, he said, what is that you are doing for the people? Why do you sit by yourself, and all the people stand before you from morning until evening? And Moshe said to his father-in-law, because the people came to me to seek Elohim. And when they have a matter, they come to me, and I lightly rule between one and another, and make known the laws of Elohim and his Torah. And the father-in-law of Moshe said to him, what doing is not good. What you are doing is not good. Both you and these people shall certainly wear yourselves out, for the matter is too heavy for you. You are not able to do it by yourself. Now listen to my voice. Let me counsel you, and Elohim be with you. stand before Elohim for the people, and you shall bring the matters of to Elohim, and you shall warn them of the rules and Torah, and show them the way in which they should walk in the work which they do. But you yourself seek out from all the people able men who revere Elohim, men of truth, hating unfair gain, and praise them over them to be rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, and rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And they shall rightly rule the people at all times. And it shall be that they bring every greater matter to you, but they themselves right rule every small matter. So make it righter for yourself, for they shall bear with you. If you do this word, and Elohim shall command you, then you shall be able to stand, and all these people also go to their place in peace. And Moshe listened to the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he said. And Moshe chose able men out of all Israel and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, and rulers of fifties, rulers of tens. And they rightly ruled the people at all times, and had matters they brought to Moshe, but they rightly ruled every small matters themselves. And Moshe sent off his father-in-law, and he went away to his own land. Exodus Shemot chapter 19 verse number 1. In the third month after the children of Israel had come out of the land of Mizraim, on this day they came out to the wilderness of Sinai, for they departed from Rephidim and had come to the wilderness of Sinai and camped in the wilderness. So Israel camped there before the mountain. And Moshe went up to Elohim, and Yahweh called to him from the mountain, saying, this is what you are to say to the house of Jacob, and to declare to the children of Israel. You have seen what I did to the Mizrahites, and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. And now, if you diligently obey my voice and shall guard my covenant, then you shall be my treasure and possession above all the peoples, for all the earth is mine, and you shall be to me a reign of Kohanim and a Kodesh nation. Those are the words which you are to speak to the children of Israel. And Moshe came and called for the elders of the people, and put before them all these words which Yahweh commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that Yahweh has spoken, we shall do. So Moshe brought back the words of the people to Yahweh. And Yahweh said to Moshe, see, I am coming to you in the thick crowd, so that the people hear when I speak with you, and I believe and believe you forever. And Moshe reported the words of the people to Yahweh. And Yahweh said to Moshe, go to the people and kadosh them today and tomorrow, and they shall wash their garments, and they shall be prepared by the third day. For the third day Yahweh shall come down upon the Mount Sinai before the eyes of all the people, and you shall make a border for the people all around, saying, take heed to yourself that you do not go up to the mountain or touch the border of it. Whoever touches the mountain shall certainly be put to death. Not a hand is to touch it, but he shall certainly be stoned or shot with an arrow. Whether a man or beast, he shall not live. When the trumpet sounds wrong, let them go up to the mountain. And Moshe came down before the mountain to the people and Kodesh the people, and they washed their garments. And he said to the people, be prepared by the third day, do not come near a wife. And it came to be on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and big crowd on the mountain, and the sound of the alarm sound was very loud, and all the people who were in the camp trembled. And Moshe brought the people out of the camp to meet with Elohim, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. And Mount Sinai was in smoke, all of it, because Yahweh descended upon it in fire, and its smoke went up like the smoke of a furnace, and all the mountain trembled exceedingly. And when the blast of the lamb's horn sounded long and became very strong, Moshe spoke, and Elohim answered him by voice. And Yahweh came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mountain. And Yahweh called Moshe to the top of the mountain, and Moshe went up. And Yahweh said to Moshe, go down, warn the people lest they break through to unto Yahweh to see, and many of them fall. And then the Kohanim who come near Yahweh Kodesh themselves too, lest Yahweh break out against them. And Moshe said to Yahweh, the people are not able to come up to Mount Sinai, for you warned us, saying, make a border around the mountain and Kodesh it. And Yahweh said to him, come, go down, and then I come up, you and Aaron with you, but you do not let the Kohanim, but the people break through to come to Yahweh. lest he break out against them. And Moshe went down to people and spoke to them. Shemot, or stroke Exodus 20, verse number 1. And Elohim spoke all this words, saying, I am Yahweh, your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mizraim, out of the house of slavery. You have no other mighty ones against my face. You do not make for yourself a carved image or lady likeness that is which in the Shemaim above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. You do not bow down to them, nor serve them. For I am Yahweh, your Elohim, am a jealous El, visiting the wickedness of the fathers of the children to the third and the fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing kindness to the thousands to those who love me and guard my commandments. You do not bring the name of Yahweh your Elohim to naught, for Yahweh does not leave the one unpunished who brings his name to naught. Remember the Sabbath day to kadosh it. 6 days you shall labor and shall do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to Yahweh your Elohim. You do not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 days Yahweh made the Shemaim and the Haaretz, and the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore Yahweh barak the Sabbath day, and kadosh it. Respect your father and your mother, so that your days are prolonged upon the land which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you. You do not murder, you do not commit adultery, you do not steal, you do not bear false witness against your neighbor, you do not covet your neighbor's house, you do not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, or whatever belongs to your neighbor. And all the people saw the thunders and the lightning flashes and the sounds of the alarm on the lamb's horn and the mountain smoking. And the people saw it, and they trembled and stood in a distance, and said to Moshe, you speak with us, and we hear, but let not Elohim speak with us, lest we die. And Moshe said to the people, do not fear, for Elohim has come to prove to you, and in order that his reverence be before you, so that you do not sin. So the people stood at a distance, but Moshe drew near the dense crowd where Elohim was. And Yahweh said to Moshe,